Hey YouTube, what's going on? Dose in the house, the CEO, ProviewsTV. The reviews from pros that know what's going on. Let's go! Hey YouTube, what's going on? Dose in the house, the CEO, ProviewsTV.
We're going to kind of jump right into it, but before we say that, number one, we want to go ahead and give thanks to all the subscribers.
Shout out to the subscribers. You guys make us motivated to do these videos every single day.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm constantly getting email updates with new subscriptions and all, but it helps, you know, we're motivated to do this stuff and kind of buy more gear. Help you guys kind of answer some questions and stuff that you might have that we had before we got the gear.
When I'm sitting down and I want to listen to music and people talk about the pros, all I find is videos of, oh, they look like this, they do this. No, give me a real world scenario. Be a regular person, wear them, and let me know what they really are. Let me know how they're really used, and we're going to do that right now. The first thing we're going to do is, why the Beats? Why the Allen? I've never even heard of Allen and Heath. I don't even know who he is. But there's a specific reason why. It's two guys. Look at that. It's not even one person. But there's a specific reason why we decided to get these headphones. Me, the Beats Pros, the expensive one. I'm going to keep saying that because Beats, they have a lot of different types of headphones. They have the studios, they have the solos, they have the Beats Pros. And the reason why I got these is because, number one, I firmly believe that sometimes, in some circumstances, expensive things tend to be better, but you need to know why. By leveraging the information and by using the features that benefit you, you will be able to see a value in expensive gears. That's one of the reasons why I got mine.
Oh, definitely. With that being said, you don't just buy things because they're expensive. Again, you have to know why you want them and how they benefit you in your specific application. For example, I got mine, although they are specifically for DJing, the quality is just amazing. I'm more on the audio side, he's on the video side of things. But I do a lot of music production and tracking and mixing, things like that. So I need something very accurate so I know what to look for and where to put my money. And if I have a gear that does exactly what I want it to do, then it's okay to go ahead and spend the money, but don't just buy equipment because it's expensive and don't know what features are going to go ahead and benefit you.
Yeah, for my case, again, I got the Beats because, number one, oh, the Beats. But you know what? When people say don't believe the hype, you need to believe the hype. Because, again, these Beats, they cost money, but there's a specific reason why they cost money. I've never heard music the way I've listened to them through these headphones. There are sounds in certain songs that I didn't even know was there. Oh, there's a piano in that song? Really? Wow. These cheap quality headphones that I got from JetBlue when I went to New York, I don't hear the piano. I don't hear the piano with the JetBlues. But you put this on and it is like man, it's an experience. It really is an experience, and I want to let you know why. So, I want to be the first one to say one of the greatest features of the Beats Pros is the strong, durable metal construction. All right? These things are not chintzy little plastics. These things are not just gonna bend, fold, and break and have a crack in them. No, these things are heavy. All right? You see that muscle right there? Bow, because I've been holding these up. My neck muscles. These things are built with a, brushed aluminum. These things are solid. They're not gonna break. And why is that even important? Because when you spend money on something and it breaks, and if it's cheap, whose fault is that? You don't want it to be the manufacturer's fault. You expect top dollar creation when you pay top dollar for your item.
Amen.
Bow.
Definitely. Since we're on the topic of build quality and construction, mine are actually, I believe it's a plastic. But what I love about them, they're very flexible, and it's not like a cheap plastic. Sometimes you'll go ahead and grab a pair of headphones, and you can just tell that they're cheap by picking them up. And that's another story. I mean, he'll get into that. He has some headphones that
You guys saw the Zoom H4M video. Don't let me go back. Don't let me go back.
The funny thing is, he didn't know what was going on. Since we're on the topic, he didn't know what was going on. The moment I picked up the headphones, I said, "This is your problem right here." And because he bought it in a bundle, he figured, oh, you know, these guys are gonna, these are the headphones. He couldn't figure out why the levels were all messed up and all stuff. And he was clipping because he had the recording volume extremely high. But man, I picked them up and I said, yeah. And one thing I've noticed about a lot of quality audio gear is always heavy. You could, I mean, my studio monitors back there, they're 30 pounds a piece, and you could tell what goes into the merchandise, you know. And the heavier it is, the better, because you feel like you're getting a better quality product. But again, to go back to the headphones themselves, the audio, the build quality is great. I love it. I put it in the carrying case all the time. I do a lot of mobile stuff, and I don't ever worry about breaking them. Even though I did get the warranty, I think that's smart. You know, if you're gonna be back and forth, I spent over $200 for these headphones. But the build quality is great. They're very flexible, very durable, and they're not so heavy that it's annoying to carry on your head, you know, and where hours and hours of use kind of take a toll on you, you know, over time. But the build quality is great. They're very flexible. But yeah, next topic.
Yeah, man. So another thing I love about these Beats is that you know, they're folding earmuffs. So you could stretch them out all the way down, because I know you see a lot of DJs with these. I got the white ones because, you know, white is just so spectacular. You just, the swag is just up there with the color white, eh? But you can fold these in. So when you actually put them inside of the case, warning, 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 warning. When you buy the Beats Pros, and, you know, I love the Beats Pros, but, you know, you spend, what, $400, $450 for a pair of headphones, you would at least suspect that there would be a heavy carrying case. Big, fat, negative. No. So when you get the soft case inside of the carrying thing, it's soft. It's not going to protect your babies that you just spend mad money on. Now, if you buy the Beats Studios, you're going to get a very nice hard case that you can travel around with. It covers it. It's plastic. It's good. But folding earmuffs is going to be great when you're DJing, because, again, you're going to be able to listen to one sound. That's really, really important, because as a DJ, you know, you want to listen on one side, you want to listen to the mix outside, so it's good that they fold. I mean, that's spectacular.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that's a feature that you can see among, I mean, basically every pair of headphones. These do the same as well. They fold up for portability. They do come with a case as well. However, they are also soft. It is leather. It comes in it's basically a pouch. It's not even a case. It's a pouch, really, where you kind of tighten it up.
Yeah.
They do protect, I would say, from scratching, but maybe not like drops and stuff like that. So if you're gonna go ahead and do a lot of mobile stuff, maybe put it in a backpack or something, just to make sure, you know, you don't want anything to impact the headphones. You put a lot of money into these things, and you know, you want them to last for a long time. But yeah, they definitely fold as well. Of course, they have for one ear listening, so you kind of DJing and things like that. That's good, so you kind of feel the ambience of the crowd that you're DJing for, as well as, you know, kind of beat matching, staying on tune with your track that you're mixing up at that time. But yeah, they fold up as well, and they're pretty good. But again, if you're gonna get any pair of headphones, really make sure you have something, you know, quality to carry them with. Don't just throw them in a little pouch and expect them to last a long time.
Another great thing about these Beats is that they have this amazing removable cable for your headphones. Now, why is that important? Well, I don't know if you ever had any type of electronics that have the cable soldered in right there, and you get this little bendy part right here. Oh yeah, after a while, that bendy part is going to cause your headphones not to operate. Fear not, pro viewers. When you separate this here, you'll be able to replace this entire cable. And you know what I love about this cable? This thing does not get tangled up. This is a quality cable right here. It does not get tangled up. You're able to go ahead and put them in any side. So if you're a lefty or you're a righty, you know, you'll be able to have the cable out of your way. And by utilizing one side, and we're actually going to show you why this is such a great feature, you know, because we're ProviewsTV, that's what we do. I'm going to connect mine right here. And guess what? If I want somebody to go ahead and listen to what's going on, that's it, baby. All I got to do, excuse me, my Clark Kent glasses came off.
First, take off your glasses.
First, take off, safety first. I'll be able to connect his headphones here, and now he will be able to listen to the mix that I'm listening to. Why is that important? You have a home studio. You want somebody to listen to the same mix. Booyaka, booyaka. You'll be able to do that. I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely an awesome feature. They could have integrated it into the Allen and Heath Zone XD-53s, but for some reason they didn't. Maybe they will in future versions of it. That is really cool, actually. That's great if you have maybe say an audio interface that doesn't have dual headphone jacks. You know, I mean, the one I have does, but again, if maybe you're on the road or something like that, that's really it's a really neat feature. Well, let's talk about cable since he kind of brought it up already. That is the whole fact that you can pull out the cable from the headphones is great. I mean, that's something that's it's huge. I mean, I'm very careful with mine so that it doesn't pull or tug, but obviously he doesn't have to be as careful, and that's why he paid a little bit more for his than I did for
But
mine.
I am careful. I don't want him to break, but I am careful.
But as you can see, you definitely can't unscrew these or pop them right out like a 3.5mm jack or anything. So it is soldered in, into the headphones themselves. One thing I do love about the cable is it's very long. I believe it's like 3 feet uncoiled, and then I believe it comes up to like 11 feet, something ridiculous like that once it's stretched out. It's great. I still personally use an extender because I don't want to pull from here where he doesn't have that problem as much. But it is also a very high quality cable. I've never had a tangle. I mean, this is not going to tangle at all, actually. Again, and I believe he has a feature.
Yeah, that's right. One thing that both of these have, which I find awesome, I really like the way the Beats actually made it. But look, I have my 1/4-inch adapter, gold plated, obviously, balanced, right? Balanced, and I learned today at Guitar Center, but it's balanced, gold plated, and it's the 1/4-inch adapter right on it, folks. Mine, all you're able to do is screw that right there, and now boom. You have a 1/4-inch to put inside of any mixer, to put inside of any 1/4-inch, device.
Sometimes maybe a mixer or interface that you're working on doesn't have, the 1/4-inch or the 3.5mm jack. But another thing that's pretty cool is you can use the headphones that you use for mixing or something more professional for maybe say your iPod or iPhone or something like that. Kind of pop it right in, which is something I like to do once I make a track or whatnot. I want to hear how everyone else is going to hear on something that's universal device like an iPhone. They go ahead and use high quality headphones and pop it on right onto an iPhone to hear what the track sounds like away from high quality monitors.
So we've gone over some of the very nice things about these headphones, but you know what? Adam had an Eve, and Eve ate the apple. Did she eat the apple? Yeah, she took the first bite. She did, right?
He probably finished it, though.
Yeah, but you know how guys are, right? But that ain't what the show's about. Anyways, so all right, guys. So pros and cons of these headphones. Comfort. When I was doing my little reviews on YouTube, a lot of people were saying that, oh, I can't wear the Beats for a long time. Oh, my ears start hurting. How about you tell us why? That's what ProViews is all about. I gotta give it to them, though. After an extended amount of use, you do feel a slight discomfort, but I'm gonna tell you why. See, these things are made out of aluminum, okay? This part right here is not a chintzy little plastic, all right? This has to begin to conform itself to your head. So what's gonna happen is that, yes, the first few times, the first few weeks, it's gonna be a little bit tight on you because, again, it's naturally wanting to conform. After the conforming period, I really feel that you're not going to have an issue. Although me, I still feel that I'm still breaking them in because I don't wear them all the time. I'll be wearing them. And, and what it is that every now and then, what I'll have to do is that I'll just take them off. I'll rub my ears for a little bit, just like, you're supposed to be resting anyway, just take them, rub your ears off, and put them right back on. You're right back into the game. You're going to feel whatever is in here. You're going to feel that a little tiny bit. But again, it's because this thing is still conforming, and that's why you may feel a slight discomfort.
Definitely. As far as these go, I don't have too much of a problem, but there's a specific reason why. Maybe it's a preference. I don't know. But I personally don't mix with headphones on. I feel like everything sounds too good as far as panning and, changing levels and all that. I feel like it's too close to your ear, so it's difficult to tell levels and whatnot, panning left and right, and different effects and whatnot. So personally, I try to avoid using headphones. I use my studio monitors specifically for that reason. I just like being able to create beats and tracks like that in a more of in a real environment, so I can hear how other people are going to hear it, and I kind of just build from there. But in the beginning, before I had my studio monitors, I've used these for quite a bit. The earmuffs themselves, the padding is very comfortable. I've seen a lot of cheap headphones where it's like too soft, and eventually what ends up happening is start cracking and like flaking off, and I've seen that, and that's no bueno. It's obvious that somebody's using them for a long time, and that doesn't look professional at all. And then it costs you money long term because you have to keep swapping them out. Where these are, it's like they're soft, but they're not cheap. They're not gonna crack and fall apart. That's definitely not gonna be a problem with that. But as far as the squeeze on your head, it's not too bad. So it kind of just sits on your head. So it's not the actual pressure on your ears on your head is not too bad. I've worn them for hours and hours at a time. But eventually, I think that's the case with any headphones. It's after the pressure and the constant pounding of the music in your ears for a few hours, you have to take a break, and it's actually recommended. You take 10-15 minute break, so you can kind of let your mind and your ears kind of relax. You come back and kind of hear things over again. Fresh ears. I notice a lot of times if I'm making a track for too long, I kind of get bored of it, and I don't hear the details anymore. It's kind of just constant hours of the same thing going in your ear. You kind of got to take a break, but they're very comfortable. They're not gonna have a really tight squeeze on your head, and again, they're not gonna crack. That's huge. You don't want to spend all that money on headphones, and a couple months down the line, between sweat or whatnot, that these things start cracking. That's not gonna happen with these. So these are good in that regard.
Yeah, man. If you buy cheap, something that my man DCO taught me, you buy cheap, you buy twice. Hey, I want to save a little bit of money too, but I don't want to spend it twice, and that's happened to me in the past. We're actually going to talk about that when we talk about the interfaces, but we're too intimate right now. But one thing I want to say about these beats, since we are talking about the earmuffs, these things are super soft, extremely soft. Oh, yeah. The same thing with the top part right here. It's made out of this beautiful heaven feather. That's what I call it. It's like heaven. It is extremely, extremely soft. And even better than that, these earmuffs are detachable. You're able to actually detach them from here. You could put them in the laundry. You could wash them, and then you could bring them back. And if you feel that they're just too dingy and the laundry isn't gonna work, you could replace just the muffs themselves. I mean, you're buying top quality product. You should be able to have the ability to keep them looking fresh.
Oh, definitely. And one thing I kind of want to correct myself. Again, with the build quality, these on the sides is actually plastic, but on the inside, since he was talking about how comfortable the top band was, it's actually aluminum inside. So it's flexible but durable. These sides are plastic, and here you can see this metal here is aluminum as well.
Let me stretch mine out too. Bow.
Yeah.
And that's a thick piece of metal. If you see it, I know you may not be able to see it too clear, but that is a thick piece of metal. I mean, they really took their time to make these pros, man. I seen the studios. I put on the studios, even though this is not a review of the studios, but I mean, wow. Wow, wow, wow. We even haven't gotten into the sound quality. You get these headphones because you want to be able to listen to music in a way that you've never experienced before.
Oh, definitely.
Man, I cannot tell you how happy I am with this purchase, because when I listen to music, I'm listening to bells, pianos, horns that I never thought were in the song. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes it's good to pay a little bit more. Save up, guys. It's good to spend a little bit more on headphones. A lot of these Beats reviews on YouTube, all they say is, oh, there's too much bass. There's too much bass. Well, you know what? There's a lot of bass in them because they're made for hip hop. I mean, they're made for that. They're made so that you can listen to that bass. Now, I'm using them as a videographer. Bass to me doesn't matter. I want to be able to listen to accurate sounds. Dennis, what can you tell me about the Allen and Heath when it comes to accurate sound?
Accurate sound, huge, 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 huge. If you're in my field, I cannot stress how important accuracy is as far as sound and true sound goes when you're making something and making tracks or whatnot. You want to be able, in other words, to trust your equipment. You don't want to have your equipment emphasizing or attenuating certain frequencies that when you translate that into maybe the car or other earphones or whatnot, that you're not hearing the same thing. it's going to be very frustrating, very difficult to make tracks when you're trying to kind of compensate for these frequencies that is either adding too much of or taking too little, kind of chopping them off when you're making tracks. It's going to be very, very difficult, and that's why you want to, for the beginning, just buy quality gear. I mean, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. One, because you won't get the benefits of a higher quality product, number one. And two, you always kind of have, if you're like me, you'll have that kind of, that feeling in the back of your mind, maybe it would sound better. Maybe I'm having this problem because I didn't get these instead. When I buy my equipment, I research it, which I definitely recommend you do, which is why you're watching this video.
That's right.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank pro viewers.
Yeah, that's kind of what our job is, to tell you what you wanted to hear, which is what we wanted to hear, but we couldn't find it. So we kind of, sometimes some of the gear we have, we kind of bought it very on the blind side, if you will.
Yeah, without having a little bit of guidance from like real world people that just use it for specific reasons, and should you even buy it,
Correct.
Man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, they say that these emphasize on the bass. Listen, it's not like if you're gonna hear the bass and it's gonna distort everything that's going on. You want pianos, you want to hear keys, you're gonna be able to hear everything. Yes, there is a slight bump in the bass, but you gotta understand, this isn't like your Walmart quality. There is a separate driver inside of this headphone for your highs and your mids and your lows. You're not going to get that anywhere else. No amateur consumer headphone is going to have separate drivers inside. It's what drives the music. It's the reason why this costs so much.
Correct.
That's insane. I mean, the Bose now, if you want to listen to classical music and you have that ear and you don't want to listen to bass, maybe the Beats are not for you. Bose, I'm not going to buy a washing machine from Sony. Sony doesn't make washing machines. I don't care if they go into the market. You see? But Beats, they make headphones. You understand? Bowser and Wilkins, that's another real big company that does headphones. Again, Bose. Skull Candy, not so much. We're trying to be pro here.
Right.
And, I mean, man, the sound quality in this is it's amazing, man. A little bit of bass, big deal. Okay, you can mix and you can do everything. Know that if it has a little bit of bass, compensate a little bit in your production. It's not that hard, folks. But some people don't want to do that step because it's time consuming and time is money. So we definitely understand why, if you want something extremely accurate, why a lot of people don't say, oh, don't get the beats. We understand that. But don't take for granted the quality that these bad boys are going to give you. They're amazing.
Definitely. I mean, just to kind of add on to what he was talking about as far as the drivers go, the reason why these are called the XD-53 is because of its 53mm driver, which is huge. And with that being said, it's very difficult to distort or overwhelm the headphones themselves. So I don't think I've ever heard any distortion from them, really. They're really loud. As far as audio quality is concerned, excellent. That's what I love about them. I mean, I don't personally use them, again, for making beats, but I just love to hear the quality that's coming out from the microphone that I'm using when I'm recording, and they're just, the mids and the highs are crisp. When the first time I bought them and I put them on, I was just excited. I went back and listened to every single track that all my favorite songs. I'm like, hold on. This is a completely different song now. I spent like hours that night just listening to the same tracks I've always heard, all the songs that I know, just re-listening to them because I wanted to hear them different. I've heard very subtle elements in music that I've never heard them before, and it just comes from having a quality product. That just it's able to handle what, it gives you what you want. That's what you want. You want to hear. And really, the point of headphones is not to make you hear what you want to hear. It's actually more important to hear what you don't want to hear, because that's when you can go ahead and do something about it. If there's something going on in your mix and you don't know about it, you can't fix it. And then if somebody else plays it on a more high quality, system, they're going to hear it. And they're going to go, what's this? And it's something you didn't hear because you didn't spend the time and the money on a quality product. But again, as far as frequency response for these, they're great. There's primarily for DJing. Now, with that said, I have a little thing to say about them as far as low end. he went ahead and said that the pros go ahead and add a little bit of low end.
A little bit of booty to the bass. Let's put it like that, you know?
They add a little bit to it, and that's kind of, as somebody more on the audio side, that's kind of that. I mean,
it's not wanted because when you're making beats, you don't want to hear anything that's extra emphasized that you did not emphasize yourself.
Correct.
So, I mean, that is where sometimes I can say, okay, you know, if you're a producer, I know people that do their mixing with beats and stuff like that, but they are very specific products like these that are going to give you that accuracy. You know, let the car put the bass into it when you pump up the bass. You know, don't bass it when you're mixing it because these are putting that extra bass in, and that's why a lot of people say that, you know, that's why.
Oh, definitely. But with that being said, I feel, you know, they get that rap for adding bass, and that's great. I mean, at least I would say the other models of the pros are not designed for music production. They're really for the consumer base who wants to hear music, and it's all about the advertisement, the beats, and all that stuff. That's great. These are a little bit, I would say, a little bit more for production. But then again, me as an audio person, I just didn't want to have that in the back of my mind, or just I didn't want to have that problem with what I do. You know, I can't afford to have something adding frequencies that I didn't put there myself. With that being said, I would say for some reason, I don't know if it's me or maybe it's a preference that I like to feel it and hear the bass a lot. I feel like these almost lack in bass. Oh, I don't know if that's on purpose, you know, by the company, or maybe because they're specifically designed for DJing. Maybe, I don't know, they expected the person who's using this not to want that bass in their ear the whole entire time they're doing, you know, a performance or whatnot. I'm not sure, but with that in that regard, it's actually great for me because I feel like I get more of a truer sound. It's not giving me what I want to hear, what they think I want to hear. No, it sounds great. No, it's telling me this is how this sounds. Do you like it or not, kind of thing. And that's great. I mean, that's really why you get studio monitors, to tell you everything that's wrong with your mix, so you can do something about it. But again, I feel like there's almost a lack in bass, and I don't know if that's on purpose or not. But sometimes because I feel like that maybe I got them and they're specifically for DJing, they might not be 100% applicable to mixing. So that's why I went ahead and got the studio monitors. But again, I mean, I don't produce beats off of headphones anyway, and I just love them for when I'm hearing myself, when I'm recording vocals or something. They're crisp, and you know, you spend money on the cables and the microphone and the interface and stuff. So you want something to, at the end of the line,
that,
right?
You know, to make it, yeah. Man.
You don't want to spend all that money on the rest of the stuff and then put some cheap headphones on, and you think that maybe it's the microphone or the cables or something, and no, it's not. No,
and I'm gonna give you real life experience. You know, I bought the Zoom H4n, and again, I had those cheapy Audio Technicas, big fat negative. I'm thinking there's something wrong with the Zoom H4n. I'm thinking that there's something wrong with the levels. No, you get a pair of $25 headphones, and then you wonder why you can't listen to anything. There's a reason why things cost money, and it's because quality. You understand me? Yo, you don't understand how upset I got that I really thought that my $400 recorder, it's really, you know, it's oh man, I mean, yo, I spent $400 on the entire kit, and I'm thinking there's something wrong with it. I don't have time for something not working, you know? Definitely. As soon as I connect, and you know, DCO was the one that said, why don't you connect your beats to your Zoom and see if you have the same problem? And as soon as I did it, I was like, amazing. It's not the Zoom H4n, it's these headphones, you know, and it was just spend money, spend a little bit of money. How much do you think it should be a good price to spend for a pair of headphones?
These retail for $199 after taxes and the warranty and stuff. I think it came out to like $250 or something like that. If you think that's a lot of money, if this is what you want to do, this is where you spend your money. You know, if it seems like a lot of money to you for a pair of headphones, it's probably not your field. The way I say that because you're probably a hobbyist or whatever. Again, I can't say how much you should spend on a pair of headphones because it all depends on what you're using it for. If you're just listening to music or whatever from the radio or something you downloaded on your iPod or whatnot, I mean, it's don't go all out. You know, don't do that. I mean, if you're producing stuff or you need it for something a little bit more professional, go ahead and spend the money. Sleep well at night. Get the benefits that come from spending money on quality products. Don't skimp for $20, $30. I got a deal. No, you didn't. You ripped yourself off.
You ripped yourself off. And oh my God, I'm sorry guys, it is so true, man. I mean, believe you me, man, this This retails at $450. Starts at $399 plus tax. Really? Really? But you know what? Go try to do something with your JetBlues that cost you $2 on the airport. Go try to do something with your Guitar Center $20 Sennheisers. You know, you're doing this for a reason. You know, you spend the money correctly because there's a requirement for a specific task. The specific task for both these headphones, for even this video, is for that you guys, so that you guys can be not only educated and understand that there is a reason why we're spending money on this. We're not just buying it because, oh, they look real cool. No. No, man. Like I said, man, spend, look, $200? Really? I mean, do you want to try to halfway it? If you want to halfway it, man, go to Walmart, man. Go do something else, man. We are trying to do this professionally. And we've learned that by buying cheap, not only do you buy twice, okay?
Your butt is red because you kicked yourself.
Guys, man, you got to spend a little bit of money on this. It all depends on your requirements. What are you trying to do? I mean, do I need Beats Pros to monitor my Zoom H4n when I'm doing video? I do not. I do not. But you know what I do need? I need accuracy. Are these things accurate? The answer is yes. These things are extremely accurate. So it fits my needs. Are those extremely accurate? Yes. Do they fill my needs? Yes. I don't have to buy these. I can buy those. I can buy the Sennheisers that cost a little bit of money. You know, I think I spent it was like $130. Remember those Sennheisers? I got a pair of Sennheisers before, you know. And they were great. They were awesome. They were very clear. You know, I turned them, you know, I returned them back to Guitar Center because, you know, again, my needs is that, hey, man, yeah, it's accurate and stuff like that, but, you know, this thing is stylish. This thing looks sexy, but it gives me a pro sound that I don't think I would have got from those Sennheisers. And Sennheisers, they're an audio company. You know what I'm saying? They're not like a whoever. They're not a, you know, a fly-by-night company. They're Sennheiser, right? You know, but yeah.
Just to add to that, I mean, don't just spend the money for the functionality of it either. I mean, I think this business, and I think he'll agree with me, both the audio and video industry is a lot to do with the aesthetics of things. I mean, it's what you walk into the room with, or what people walk into the room into. You see what I'm saying? It's half functionality, half aesthetics. When somebody walks into the studio, you don't just get the quality of all the gear in there. You get the feel of the room, the ambience, and it's just like, you know, people walk in and say, man, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He has products I've never seen before. Obviously, all this stuff costs money. He's serious. It adds credibility, adds professionalism, and you feel good. You know, you walk around with your equipment because at the end of the day, your equipment represents you.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So spend money wisely. Mm-hmm. If this is what you want to do, you know, production, you know, is what you want to do, you can never go wrong by putting money into it. You maybe short term you think, man, I should have. Man, that's a lot of money. I mean, I spent $1,500 on my studio monitor. That is a lot of money for speakers, for a hobbyist. It sounds like a lot of money for a hobbyist.
And they're not even speakers. They're studio reference monitors.
Yeah.
Correction.
The hobbyists will call it speakers.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking on their regard. But again, it represents you. It says this guy's serious. I can put my work into his hands, and I don't mind paying him such and such because he's obviously invested. Is the word I'm looking for? Is invested in what he's doing, and that's important. It shows that you care and you're willing to put your money, your time, and do research, and just put your effort into something that matters. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That impression is huge. Don't walk into, I don't know. Sometimes everybody has their own grind or whatnot, but I never said I had my own studio or home studio, whatever. I always said I'm working on a home studio because I didn't want to be one of those guys with a laptop and Fruity Loops and a JetBlue earpiece headset, telemarketing, saying I got my own studio. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fake myself out. And eventually, you do that long enough, people are gonna say, "Oh, what do you got? Oh, what have you made?" And they're gonna be like, "Really? You know, it doesn't show you're serious, even though you might be. And you have to start everywhere. I started the same place, and I'm not done with my equipment yet. But I have spent a couple $1,000s on equipment, and this is an expensive industry. It really is, and I've noticed that the video industry is also, I think, more expensive. And the slightest little thing will cost you hundreds of dollars.
That's right.
But it's like, you know, if this is what you want to do, have the equipment represent you, spend your money where it matters, and you know, just get the benefits of higher quality, and you'll sleep very well at night. You look at your stuff like, man, this is mine. You know, I remember before I bought these, I'm like, I looked at these like, man, $200.
Yeah, I would never spend $450 on a pair of headphones.
And then you do, and you're like, huh.
Wow.
I thought this was gonna. And the funny thing is, you'll get one thing, and it's almost like an addiction. You'll get one thing, this is great, and then, but like, man, this is good, but I need something else as well too. Let me get this, and you know, you start building up, basically just an accumulation of high quality products that help you get the results that you want, you know.
And you know, think about it like this too. I mean, these Beats, you know, they show a few things. Not only Beats, but all the camera equipment that I brought. I mean, you guys saw when I went to New York and I put the behind the scenes on me getting all my equipment. It shows that I am educated enough to understand my needs. Do you understand? I mean, if you think that buying a netbook with Fruity Loops is gonna meet your needs, then maybe you need to be with Adele and Fruity Loops on your little netbook, and that's it. But you know, I mean, I'm educated enough to know that ain't it. You understand? I'm educated enough, that ain't it. You know, I spend a lot of money not only because I want to live a lavish life. No, I understand my needs. I understand my needs, and I understand that there are specific things that specific items will give me to fulfill my needs. You understand? They have headphones that cost $2,000. That's not gonna fill my need. That's gonna put a hole in my pocket. You know?
Then you need a new pair of pants.
And then you need a new pair of pants. But these, they fill my need. You know, they're heavy. They're nice. I hear the sound. The price may be a little bit high, and people say, "Oh, they're exacerbating you on the price." You know what? No, they're not, man. These things are quality. Don't get the bootlegs either, which is so big. Ooh, I got the Beats for cheap. No, you didn't. What you got was a knockoff, and then you want to be mad when your Beats stop working in 3 weeks because one of the speakers don't work. Really? Really? Spend the money. So, in closing, the Beats Pros versus the Allen and Heaths. Which one should you buy? Again, does it fit your need? Does it fit your pocket? I think at the minimum, you should not be spending no less than $120 to $150 if you want to at least start. You want to start, spend at least that much. I wouldn't even spend a little bit more. Spend a little bit more. Why? Because you know what? You're going to feel it. You know, you're going to be mixing something, or you're going to be listening to it, and you think you got it right until you give it to your client, and the bass is all the way down, or the treble's all the way up, or it doesn't sound right. Oh, it sounded right on your your $2 JetBlues. That's what I'm going to keep calling them, because I've seen it. I've seen people with JetBlue headphones at home. Let me say it again. Don't do it. Spend a little bit of money. The Beats Pros, they fit my need, bro. I love hip hop, R&B. I hear everything. A little bit of booty on the bass, big deal, big whoop. You know, it's not like if it's distorted or anything like that. I love my Beats. I love them. They're really, really fantastic. Spend money on your headphones. I'm sorry, man. You know what? I was the one that had the pair of JetBlue headphones. All right, there we go. You guys happy now? It was me, okay? I had a pair of these JetBlue headphones, and like a person that doesn't know, that doesn't think that there's a reason to have expensive headphones, I'm listening and I'm like, wow, these don't sound like the ones when I go to Studio B, which is DCEO's, you know? These don't sound like his. Why? Why can't I hear all the beautiful things? Why am I putting the volume all the way up and I still can't hear anything? It's right there, right in front of you. It's because you're trying not to spend money, and you're trying to save, and you're trying to be a professional at the same time.
I'll tell you what, you can't be successful saving, trying to skimp your way to success. It's not going to happen. Success takes investment, but not just that. I mean, just don't skimp on it. But with that being said, as far as spending money on headphones and things like that, put it like this. Let's say you spent, I don't know, $2,500 on a brand new 1080p LED 240 hertz TV, and you go ahead and you run HD cables. I mean, from an HD box with component cables or composite cables. It's not gonna happen. I mean, you spent all this money to get a specific result, and then you kill it on the other side with the cables. It's the same thing. You spend all this money trying to produce the sound, and then you skimp trying to have it played back. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, don't shortcut the shortcut. I mean, it's really from the hardware to the cables to how you're getting it. You know, whether it's headphones or professional studio reference monitors. I mean, I personally, after you hear music and something like this, you really don't even want to go back to earbuds.
Oh boy, we haven't even done that.
I
can't even do it. I can never go back to listening to regular headphones. Nope, big fat negative. Won't work for me. Cause now you've been exposed to the you know, like they say, the grass is greener on the other side. Let me tell you what, man. I put these on. I put a regular pair of headphones. I'm like, yucky. You don't want to do it, because you've already heard what true quality is. It's like driving a BMW, so smooth, German. It's like driving a BMW and then getting into your ¡94 Civic, wondering why it's not as smooth. You got a transmission issue. Fix your belts. But no, what we're saying is that we want you to go ahead and you know, you're gonna hear the quality. You're not gonna regret it. You're really not. You don't have to spend this much money. Spend, we'd say, like 120 to 150. And if you have a little bit of more money, save it and then buy these right here. Sennheisers or Bose. Don't go with a company that doesn't make the headphones. Really? With the Skull Candy, what are you doing? No, go away. But guys,
it's funny he mentioned Skull Candy. I mean, real quick, I had a pair. I spent like $50.
I'm not the only one.
This is years ago when I had them. I was like, oh, these things are crazy. And it was just like I was so hyped about them, and then, you know, it's just not it. You know, it's kind of, you're either a hobbyist or you're a professional, and just don't do it. I mean, it's not worth it at all. Just go ahead and if you're in the production field, spend the money on something that's really gonna help you out. At the long run, it's an investment for you, and just
you're gonna hear the difference. That's the biggest thing for me. You want to be able to listen to accuracy. You're gonna hear the difference. If you put on those $30 Walmarts, Logitechs, or whatever, the cheapies, you're gonna hear the difference, and then you're gonna wonder why it doesn't sound the same.
Just to add on that, I realize also it's kind of, as a somebody who produces music, I think even as a hobbyist, you should spend some money on a decent pair of headphones, only because I realize even just when I listen to music on, let's say, iPod earphones or something like that, when maybe in the kicks there's like a little bit of a rattle or sounds tinny. So I'm like, man, even you're just listening to other people's music and it doesn't even sound as good. So I'm thinking in my mind, man, you're not even getting the quality you want when you listen to the music, so why are you even listening to it, kind of thing. So even if you're a hobbyist, you know, just want to hear to listen to music, get something quality so you can hear what the producer of that track intended you to hear. That's right. You know?
That's right, man. You know what, man? You know, in summary, again, we think that these headphones are awesome. You spend a little bit more money, you're going to get what you really want, which is a pro-sounding audio quality that can never be generated anywhere else. So, my name is Richie Mendoza, a.k.a. Dose.
DCO in the building. Hope you guys enjoyed this.
All day, every day, ProviewsTV. Reviews from pros that know what's going on. Let's go!